Hi. Today I am here with my July favorites. I think I only have books and a board game to talk about. But anyway, let's get into it. So, the first book that I'm going to talk about is The Gem of Tagath by Jason Deroe. This is a prequel novella that takes place before Akathar's Greatest Trick, which is the first book in his Teshuvah series, which is a fantasy series where magic is outlawed and there are people who do magic. And there's lots of really cool stuff that happens. And this one is about a heist that two teenage girls do. It's fantastic. You can read them in any order. Like, you could read this before Akathar's Greatest Trick, or you could read Akathar's Greatest Trick first. I read Akathar's Greatest Trick before I read The Gem of Tagath. Like, this one wasn't even out yet when I read the first book. So you can read this after. Like, it was written after, so of course you could read it after. I feel like it would be good to read it first if you have not read a lot of fantasy and it's kind of daunting to you. I feel like this is a really good introduction into this world without it being too much or confusing in any way. Like, there isn't a lot of fantasy stuff going on in it, but it still introduces you to the world. So I feel like if you are new to fantasy, but you want to read this series and it's kind of intimidating, definitely start with this one. Anyway, yeah, it's just about two girls who pull off a heist to steal this gem. It's great. It was really enjoyable. I enjoyed every second of it. I'm so glad that I read it, and then I have my own copy. And then I read The Prince and the Apocalypse by Kara McDowell. You guys, this book was so cute. I actually haven't read a YA romance or like a YA book at all, I think, in a while, which is like weird because YA books are cheaper. So I buy them more often, and they're always so much fun. But anyway, I haven't read a YA romance in a really long time, and I'm really glad that this is the one that I picked up to get back into it, I guess, because it was so cute and it was so much fun. So this is about a girl who is in England on a school trip. And on her last day there, she's kind of having a fight with her friend. Them being roommates for this whole trip has kind of like, tested their friendship. And so she kind of needs to be away from her and do the one thing that she's wanted to do the whole time since coming here before going back home. While she's on her little solo adventure, she ends up running into the Prince of Wales. She doesn't know who he is at first. And then when she realizes who he is, she kind of helps him evade the paparazzi and the crowds and everything. And in doing so, she is late for her flight back home. She's missed the group. She's missed her school group going back. She's going to have to get to the airport by herself. And so the prince, Theo, gives her his personal phone number and says, "You really helped me out today. If you need anything in the next 8 days, call me." And she's like, that was a weird thing for him to say, in the next 8 days. So she makes it to the airport and she's missed her flight. But after she realizes she missed her flight, she realizes there's like chaos in the airport. Everybody's freaking out because she finds out that there's a meteor that's coming to Earth that's going to kill everyone in 8 days. So she realizes the prince knew about this meteor before she did. That's why he said that. And she doesn't know what to do. She can't get a flight home. It's very upsetting. Like, she's upset that the world is going to end in 8 days, and she's extra upset because she's not going to be able to be home to spend time with her family before that happens. So she ends up calling the number that the prince gave her, and they come up with a plan to get her home. And the plan helps both of them. It helps her get home, and it helps him go to where he wants to be for the end of the world as well. So they are helping each other get to where they want to before the end of the world. And obviously they like fall in love and stuff as the story goes. And it's so cute. It's so much fun. It also has like a little bit of like deep stuff to it as well. There's like some stuff in there about like depression and about like basically the way that he feels like he's being treated as a prince and how he has to deal with life and doesn't want to, and stuff that's going on with her family and her friends, and like the end of the world is like kind of, bringing it all out and everything. So there's a little bit of thoughtfulness to it as well, which kind of helped, like, round the story out, give it some depth. But, like, it was so cute. It was so cute, and it was so much fun. And I think in the acknowledgements, it says something about how she wanted to write a book about the end of the world, but fun. And that's exactly what this was. It's a book about the end of the world, except fun. This just was, like, the perfect book for me at the time that I read it. It brought me so much joy. And I actually have purchased another book by the same author, because I think it's going to be just as lovely. So I'm really excited to get to that one. And then I read Spy Family Volume 5. I feel like I don't need to explain what this is about because every single time I read one of these, I talk about it. But I just need to mention that I did read Spy Family Volume 5 and it made my life. This series also makes me incredibly joyous. It's my favorite manga series. Everyone needs to read it. It is fantastic and lovely and delightful and hilarious and silly and just wonderful. And the board game that I'm going to talk about is Happy Little Dinosaurs. It's by the same company that made Exploding Kittens, which I haven't played. I haven't played any of these games, but I've seen them advertised. They all look adorable and fun and cute. We played Happy Little Dinosaurs, and it's difficult for me to explain how it works, so I'm not really going to explain like how the game itself, like how the mechanics of the game works, because I feel like it's not going to work very well. But essentially, you are a different dinosaur who's trying to not die. So like, I can't even think of an example now, but pretty much everything that happens is either really punny or just really cute. And it's like sadness with a cute, funny, like cloak over it. It's like, you know, dark humor, like everyone is making jokes about being depressed and making jokes about dying and stuff like that. And the cartoons are adorable. But basically you get different cards that have different points and different instructions on them, so different things that you can do in order to help yourself in the game. And every round there's an event that happens, so maybe, you know, a meteor comes, or somebody eats all your food, or something like that, and people have to try and use the card that's going to give them the most amount of points to not have this event affect them, basically. And so if you have, I think it's 3 or 4 events, 3 events affect you, then you lose and the game is over. But then if somebody makes it to the end of their board before somebody else, then they win and the game is over. So anyway, it was a lot of fun and it was very cute, and it was a little difficult for us to kind of like understand it the first time. Like all of us were a little confused and we kept referring back to the instructions as we were playing. But then the more we played, it got easier to understand and it was really fun, and I would definitely play it again. I would purchase it. I would purchase it so that I can play it with different people or with my family or whatever as well. Like I would definitely spend money on it. So it was a lot of fun and it was really cute and funny. And I am actually going to talk about a TV show that I forgot that I watched that I really enjoyed and didn't expect to enjoy as much as I did, which is The Haunting of Bly Manor. And the reason I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did is because I thought it was going to be too scary. But it wasn't that scary. It was a little scary, but it wasn't too scary. And The Haunting of Bly Manor is about someone who gets a job as a nanny, basically, at this huge mansion out in the middle of nowhere in England. There's a lot of really creepy stuff going on, and the kids are acting strange, and they talk about ghosts and stuff that are wandering the house, and you have to be careful, and you can't leave your room tonight because she's going to be walking around and stuff like that. There's also a lot of backstory about all of the characters that are really interesting and really well drawn out. There's a few episodes that are like kind of mindfucky, the way that they're edited and the way that the story is unraveled. But it was a really good story, and it was really interesting, and it was spooky, but not too spooky. I thought it was really well done. I really enjoyed it. And I would watch it again, probably with someone. I don't think I would watch it again by myself. But if somebody wanted to watch it, not alone, I would watch it with them. I think that's it. Like, I've just been playing Tears of the Kingdom. I haven't played any other new video games, and I don't think I've seen any new movies. It was just The Haunting of Bly Manor, really, I think. I have been sitting for 13 minutes, and it's starting to hurt, so I guess that's the end of this video. So I hope you all had a good July, and I hope you're having a good August. And you can let me know in the comments if there's anything that you consumed, any kind of media or games or anything like that that you really liked in July. And I guess that's all. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.